One evening, Thomas arrived at his junction with the last train of the day. To his surprise, Toby and Percy were also there. "Hello, you guys. You're usually back at the sheds by now. What's up?" "The Fat Controller's called us all down to the big sheds to spend the night," chirped Percy. "Apparently, he has big news to tell us," added Toby. "I wonder if it has anything to do with them." Toby and Percy looked to where Thomas was looking down the line. A large group of engines from the other railway were coming towards them. They all whistled hello. Percy called out, "Hello, Ginty. Hello, Pug." "They're friends of mine," Percy said jovially. "I wonder what they're all doing here," wondered Toby. "Search me, but we better get going." The three branch line engines soon joined the rest of the Fat Controller's engines and all of the mainland engines at the sheds. It was chaos as the two groups intermingled. The Fat Controller stood on Duck's tanks and called for attention. "The people of England," he started, "read about us in the thin clergyman's books, but they don't think we're real." There were angry mutterings coming from the Sodor engines at that comment. "So," he continued dramatically, "I will bring all of my engines to London to show them." The engines all cheered, but Winston looked concerned. "Sir, there aren't enough of these engines to take over for us." "I am so glad you brought that up, Winston. See, I couldn't bring all of my engines to London, so only the ones that will be in the books will be coming. I hope the rest of you won't mind." Stanley, Lily, Neil, Sir Alec Greedy, and Winston all said they didn't. "Very well, we'll be leaving at the end of this week, and we'll be gone for 5 days. You have until the end of the week to train these engines to do your jobs." The Fat Controller soon left. All of the engines talked throughout the night, exchanging stories. The next day, Thomas was showing Ginty what to do. As Annie and Clarabelle were coming to London as well, they practiced with other coaches. Thomas was excited to be teaching and began to boast. He told Ginty about his race with Bertie. "I was at the top station and I whooshed through the tunnel and stopped at the platform, like this." Thomas rushed forward. A leaking tanker going to the harbor had spilled all over the track. Thomas slid along and crash. He opened his eyes to see his buffer beam caught in the remains of the buffers. Ginty was laughing as he and Percy cleared away the wreckage. "Poor Thomas," Percy remarked. "What if he can't come to London?" Thomas was at the repair yard all night. The next morning, Henry, Gordon, James, Edward, Toby, Percy, and Duck stopped off at the works on their way to the mainland. Henrietta sat outside with Annie and Clarabelle in gleaming new paint. "You all look splendid. London will have never seen such grand engines," proclaimed the Fat Controller. The engines were all proud of this except Percy. He was worried. "Where's Thomas?" he said anxiously. "He'll be here soon," reassured Toby. Minutes passed by. The other engines began to get impatient, and the Fat Controller paced the platform anxiously. Finally, he said, "If he doesn't show up soon, we'll..." "I'm sorry, they insisted on testing my brakes one more time before I left." "Well, you're here now, so let's get a move on," hurried the Fat Controller. Thomas and the coaches were hitched onto the back of the train, and the cavalcade soon set off. "London, here we come!" they cried. The train soon passed over the bridge and they were off. They returned a number of days later, tired of the flashing cameras and all the big crowds of people. They had enjoyed London very much, but were glad to be home. People lined the tracks as they made their way pridefully to the big station. They cheered and shouted, "Nothing can compare with our Fat Controller's engines."